Welcome to EFT MBA Mastering Business Acumen with the help of EFT business experts. Learn the marketing, mindset, and skill set you need to create the EFT coaching practice of your dreams. Visit www.eftmba.com for more information. And now, here's the EFT training team that embodies the art and science of EFT. Alina Frank and Dr. Craig Weiner.
Hello, and welcome to our show. Craig, are you on?
I am absolutely on and excited,
awesome.
too.
Yeah, this is a great show we've got lined up for you. And we are live today, so if you want to give us a call, if you have any questions, the number to call in is, let me look, 347-215-6833. If you push the number 1, then we'll know you're in the queue and you'd like to participate in this discussion on what?
Telesummit!
Telesummit.
We're talking about telesummits.
Okay.
Preparing for telesummits, being on telesummits, all about telesummits.
Cool. All right. So let's jump right in because we know this is the show with 30 minutes. Lots of information, but we know that your time is valuable, and so we stay on task and always wrap it up in 30 minutes. Okay, so
you
Craig,
better have a pen and be able to write quickly because we have a lot of information.
Yeah, or go back and listen. Go back. You can listen to the archive. You can just go to EFT Tapping Training at any point and just download our shows from there. So, Craig, why would we want to participate in a? You know what? We didn't even talk about this. There are some people that have no clue what a telesummit even is. So why don't we just briefly talk about what a telesummit is?
When telephone lines go to the top of a mountain for a distant call. No. Telesummits. God, if you haven't heard of a telesummit, it is a great way to have on the internet a way to basically have a virtual conference.
Right.
You can bring together amazing people and be able for people to listen online over the course of a day or up to 2 to 3 weeks to all kinds of different speakers and gain knowledge of information. So that's what a telesummit is. Sometimes it's just audio. Sometimes it's audio and video. It comes in different formats.
Yeah, I was going to add that there are many different formats for them. Some of them are live. Some of them are recorded. Most of them are free to listen live. Many of them then will do an upsell, and if you purchase the recordings, then it costs you money. All of that are different ways of doing telesummits. We've been part of a telesummit that lasted a couple days long. We've been part of a telesummit that lasted, like 21 days long. So different formats. And but let's talk about, all right, why even participate in these things?
Well, there's a lot of reasons. Number one is if you are a practitioner, you have a service and or product, and you're looking for ways to get your work out there to increase your exposure, your sales. It gives you much broader exposure to people that you wouldn't reach otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
For sure. So this is participating as a speaker, a guest speaker on a telesummit, or being having your own, starting your own, and figuring this out and doing it as you would put a telesummit out there for other people to participate in. So yes, definitely broader exposure for you, your products and services.
And we're going to go over advantages and disadvantages of both of those. But whether you put one on or you're a guest, what another advantage is you want to grow your contact and your email list. And as you become involved in this, that's one way to do that. You can increase your product and services sales. You can increase your recognition as an expert in your field, which can lead to further invitations, collaborations, opportunities. It's a great addition to your professional resume and your media kit as you're looking for other ways to teach or put yourself out there in the world. That's one more way that you were, an acclaimed guest speaker on various telesummits.
Right.
You can from many of the events obtain your recording of the interview you did after the event and then archive it onto your website. So you've got a professionally recorded MP3 or video recording of your interview on your website, so when people come to them, they see all the different topics that you've been speaking on, and that's a great asset. And,
I've also participated in some that will not only give you your recording, but they will give you the transcript of your interview, which also can lend itself to you changing it, morphing it, turning it into a free ebook or a paid ebook or some other thing.
That's great. Excellent. And, what's most important here is really that you're bringing your work, and since, most of the people listening are going to be EFT tapping professionals on the call, you get to bring EFT to people and to the world in a bigger way, affecting more people, bringing this healing modality, exposing more people to it, and keeping this biggest vision in mind for healing and transformation. So all of those reasons are reasons to participate.
Okay. All right. So then let's talk about the difference between just being a guest on a Telesummit versus putting one on. So let's say you create this amazing worldwide event. Advantages. The advantages include...
Advantages.
Yeah, advantages. Well, you get to choose the subject matter. So you get to choose the subject matter. You get to choose something that's closely aligned with what it is that you want to be known for. You are the EFT expert. You get to select the guests who will raise your reputation in the best, fastest way. You get to significantly grow your own list, your email list, your newsletter list. You can profit from the product sales if implemented as an affiliate for all your guests, or different ways, like we said. Sometimes it is the model of listen live free and then purchase the product afterward, the recording afterward. So you would make all those sales. You create multiple collaborations with other people in closely aligned fields. And you can create some amazing associations with these people that then could benefit you later on, that you want to do other work with them. You could do other joint ventures with them that will be mutually beneficial. You have shared marketing partners, so that the advantage is that you don't have to put this all on yourself. You ask the people, and for most telesummits, it is a requirement that everyone participating shares in the marketing of this. So that's a very invaluable way to grow your list. If everyone's out there putting out the information, then you have some serious marketing collaborators and partners. If you enjoy learning and expanding your marketing skills, hey, you're just one of those people just like, I want to learn all of it. I want to get to understand the marketing behind this, and I think I'll grow and I just love it. Or if you're one of those very odd people, not me, that love learning the new technology platforms out there, and you get to choose like the different shopping carts and the affiliate program and how this works and how that plugin works and how this website will benefit. All of those things, if you love that kind of stuff, that's a fantastic vehicle for you to really learn and expand not only your reach, but your skill set and your knowledge base. You learning everything that it takes to run a summit. So all of those are advantages. So Craig, why don't you take the disadvantages?
Okay. Can I just list all of the things that you just said? That I have to be responsible for choosing the subject matter, that I have to be responsible for interviewing and choosing all the guest speakers, that if I don't like the technology and I still have to figure out what platform and what shopping carts and what best recording programs, that I'd have to do all that I'd have to be financially responsible for the web design, for the placement ads, for the hiring of a tech and recording team and launch team, and then not only that, but I have to manage the communication with my team, but manage the communications or have it managed with all the different guest speakers and all the beautiful and horrible ways that missed communications and missed emails and people not participating in the way I hope they would have. And I get to handle all of that, plus the sales, plus the follow-through. Oh, my God. That can be overwhelming.
Oh, my God.
So
is right. Oh, my God is right. And I just want to say that I have seen many different programs out there that will sell you kind of a bill of goods, right? They'll sell you some you unknowingly, unwittingly go into this idea of, oh, this program is going to set up a telesummit for me, and I will just all of a sudden, start rolling in the money and the the affiliate sales and all of those. My email list will grow by tens of thousands of dollars. I would say be leery of that. Really go in there with open eyes, knowing that as much as you think that this is going to help you significantly, if you're starting off in a new EFT practice, our recommendation is to wait and instead try to become a summit guest. Because it is overwhelming.
Summit guest?
Oh, heck yeah.
What are some of the advantages?
Yeah. Advantages like of what? Being a guest. Advantages. You're the guest. You. What happens when you're the guest? All the responsibility is not on you. You don't have the financial, energetic, and time expenditures to get this thing rolling. You get to spend a small amount of time promoting the event. Yes, you are responsible for helping to promote the event. So your primary time commitment here is just the preparation for what you're going to be presenting, and the time that you're going to take to record the interview or do it live, and the time that you're going to spend marketing this out to the people that you already are connected to in the form of either social media or your email marketing that you already do. So you still have your recognition as an expert in your field. It's simple. It's easy. You just say yes, and there are some steps which we're going to be covering, things that you need to do to prepare yourself for this. But for the most part, I'd say compared to putting it on yourself, it's like night and day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? All right, what are the disadvantages, Greg?
You know what? There really aren't any. There's really no disadvantages. You don't spend much time. You don't spend any money. You don't get as great benefits, so you don't get to create as many collaborations with the other guest speakers because you're really not in communication with them. You don't benefit as much financially. You also don't have the risk, obviously. You won't grow your list as large. So basically there's no disadvantages. You're just not going to gain as many of the benefits if you were heading it. But you've really got to evaluate where you are in the stage of your practice and in your willingness to take on this large a project.
Yeah.
So I'd say as far as the guest, go for it. And as Alina was saying, in preparing to be a guest, there are things that you should have prepared ahead of time so that it will facilitate when you get invited or somehow when you become involved of things that you want to put in place ahead of time that are important, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's go over what some of those things are.
Yeah. Yep. So have a prepared speakers page or package in advance. So you want to have all these materials in advance. You might have them in a section on your website, or definitely have a file for this sort of thing, with including engaging titles. And we're big advocates of leaving EFT and the whole discussion about meridian tapping and all of that. We're big fans of leaving that kind of out. Unless that is absolutely your audience, and they'll look at those letters and know exactly what you mean. So engaging titles with 2 or 3 sentence descriptions so that you know what it is that you're going to be offering the people that are out there looking for Telesummit speakers. You need a professional, high-resolution JPEG headshot. Please, no glasses on top of your head. I mean, I've seen professional pictures, supposedly professional business shots with someone wearing sunglasses like up on their head. You know, if you're giving me the impression that you can't even take the time or the money to have a professional picture taken of you. And nowadays there are so many ways of doing it. Get a college kid, call up an art school, and just say, I'm looking for a student that's going to do headshots for me. And there are just myriad ways of being able to do that and having it come out really nicely. Then you on a couch with let's say your dog, or hanging out in the yard and having to, with a group of people, and you're having to crop that out to make that your shot. Spend the time and spend a little money and get yourself a professional headshot. They're going to need that from you. Also, what you need to be prepared is that you should have a website by that point. You should have a website that reflects what it is that you're an expert in, so relevant keywords and all of that jazz. You need to have a bio that you can easily send either when soliciting or when they request it from you, with a description that's very pertinent and succinct. One line isn't, for most of these summits, isn't going to do, but they certainly do not want to receive from you 3 or 4 pages of your qualifications for why you should be part of their summit. They don't want that. They don't have the time. Contact information. So you should have a phone that's a dedicated business line so that your kid doesn't answer the phone and says, "Hey, Mom, is someone on the phone for you?" I mean, it's just, again, professionalism goes a long way with these folks, and so have a dedicated business line. You want to have in place a freebie to offer, some kind of ebook or audio recording, something that you can give away. Many of these telesummits require you to have such a thing in place so that they can make it juicy for people to come in and listen and perhaps purchase the material for the telesummit. You want to have an offer, a service, a product that people could then follow through with at different price points. So we talk about a marketing funnel. This is part of your marketing funnel. This is the top tier, is the freebie. The second tier is a less expensive item, so that people are still getting to know you, you're getting trust, and they're really getting a flavor for how well you know this material. And then the more expensive things come later on, but it's certainly something that you need to have in place, is a product or a service to offer the people that are coming into the Telesummit, listening to you and wanting more from you. So in addition, a great way to increase your interview skills is by finding ways to be interviewed on a smaller scale. So the way that we've been able, a few years ago, I'd say the last, let's say 2 years back, we were doing tons of radio interviews. We didn't just have our own show, but we did one for African American businesswomen. We did one for the Chapel Hill, North Carolina Research Triangle. What these things had in common was they were looking for us to speak on our niche. And so the EFT really didn't matter. It was just exposing us as experts in that field. And that's what really established us. And so the payoff of doing all of those radio interviews and podcasts over a course of a couple of years was that then this year for us has been, wow, big time, the year of telesummits, where we're getting invited left, right, and center for participating in all of these telesummits and video summits as their guest speakers. So do your research, find places like Blog Talk Radio, Voice America, find niche-related shows, do some Google searching, and figure out who's out there doing podcasts that are interviewing people on your particular topic, on your niche. And let me tell you, Craig and I love doing these shows together, but before we had this show, we both had shows that really devoted a lot of the material to interviewing other people, and we were always looking for people to come on to our shows. So that they're always looking for great guests, and if you have all your ducks in a row, and if you're prepared and you send them something, in advance, saying, this is my media packet. This is how I can best serve your audience is by talking about this, that, and the other thing. Then you will that is like a no-brainer. You can just roll off the bed into that one. It is not that hard to get on the radio.
Yeah, I actually just want to say too. Yeah, that is information we go into more depth in the EFT Mastering Business Acumen, the EFT MBA Success Program. We talk a lot about interviews, and you know what? This is a program on EFT Radio Online that we're doing right now, and there are multiple guests there. So, we're going over the basics now. There's certainly a lot more information that we go over with our students, but this should give you plenty to work with. What I wanted to go over next was what are some of the things that will be either required of you by a telesummit or things that we strongly recommend. So depending on the summit, the size of the summit, the number of years it's been running, et cetera, they're often going to require that you have an email list size that's of a certain quantity.
Right.
In other words, they want to make sure to succeed that they're interviewing people that have an outreach as well of a certain size. So another reason for you to be continuing to work on growing your email list size, because that often is a requirement. They're often going to require a certain number of social media friends or contacts on Facebook and Twitter and, all the different social media ways on LinkedIn that you can reach out to a formidable number of people. It may be 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, all different levels depending on the level of the summit. They are almost always going to have you commit to a co-promotion or blast of a certain number of times in a certain period before and during the summit, right? So you've got to be willing to do that. So those are often the expectations by a telesummit creator. Our recommendations is to make sure for your presentation to come off and be presentable and professional, you want to make sure and have a high-quality, fast DSL connection so you're not being cut on and off. You want that to be solid. You want to make sure that if the summit is a video interview, for example, on Skype or Google Hangouts especially these days, that you've got a good high-quality external camera. The one that's normally in, for example, laptops, really is often insufficient and looks grainy and the color's a little bit off. So it's cheap enough to get one of those small ball cameras that do a much better job. If you're doing an audio interview, you want to make sure and have a good quality headset, right, that blocks out noise and has a higher level audio quality. And then finally, one thing that really comes up is people want to know about tapping during an interview, especially if they're talking about tapping. Now, it's our very, very strong recommendation that you never just take on a person that you have never talked to and do a live demo tapping. It is too risky. It is not wise to do. We often don't even recommend that you do tapping during the interview, that it be more informative. But if that's what the Telesummit person is wanting you to do, we're going to strongly recommend that you pre-screen somebody before the interview, communicate with them so you have a sense of what you're getting in for before you ever do any tapping on the interview itself.
Yeah.
Have you seen that, Alina?
I have seen that. I always do that. I always recommend everyone to do that. And I also want you to achieve a certain level of mastery of EFT before you actually attempt it. Do plenty of group demos and things like that to prepare yourself well for taking it to the next more difficult situation of not even being able to see someone and do it just on the spot with someone on knowing that anything can happen. All right, so once you are invited to be a guest, some hosts will ask you for questions in advance, some don't, and it's best to have these in either case. Just have it. And if you have like a hierarchy of importance in bullet points, that should be enough for you to look over and refer to. Even with those loose, spontaneous interviewers, like I had someone, whatever you want to talk about. And even with those, I think that it's best to be prepared. You're going to feel more secure, and it's going to come off. People are going to hear that confidence in your voice. So even if you have people like that, go ahead and write yourself the questions or the bullet points or the topics that you want to cover, because it'll just make you sound more professional, even if your interviewer isn't. And another thing that we like to say and stress is that people remember stories. So it's just part of the way that we're wired as human beings. We sat around fires and we told stories, and we resonate with stories. We're programmed to listen to stories. So as much science and facts as you want to throw in there, make sure that you have some really good, juicy case studies, stories, your healing journey, things like that, and really work it and massage it until it sounds wonderful, authentically you, and speaks well about the work that you're doing out in the world or your challenges that you've been able to overcome. Definitely use a soft sell approach. Any aggressive self-promotion will erase any chance of being invited back the next year for sure, and other listeners will not really want to take advantage of what you're offering, because this is really the Telesummit is supposed to be meaty material, and here you are coming off as somebody that's just selling. Do not only mention the problem that you can help people with, but make sure to give them valuable takeaways and golden nuggets of useful information. So, wow, this has been really full. Craig, how do you want to wrap this up?
I could absolutely hear I'm interested, and now all of a sudden just see somebody with a deadpan look of, oh my God, that's way above me. I'm overwhelmed. I'm blown away. You remember that commercial where the guy was watching the Sony stereo system? He's just blowing in the wind. So what I would say about all of this is you want to know and be self-aware of what stage you're at, of what stage your practice is at. If you are a year or two into practice, taking on a telesummit is probably not what you want to do. It's probably premature unless you have a huge amount of background in some of the technology. So when we start looking at this, you want to begin stepwise. Make it perhaps a goal that you're going to prepare, focusing your niche. All these, again, are things that we do in the MBA program. What is your specialty? You're going to want to develop your website. You're going to want to develop your short biography. You're going to want to develop topics that you can speak with, because you can use those on a telesummit or presenting in your community. They have multiple abilities for uses. Right. So, again, you can, like you said earlier, you can get killed by trying to purchase one of these programs for $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 and be not nearly ready to integrate even the good stuff that you get from it.
Yeah, because even if you let's just say that you buy the $50,000 package where they say they're going to do it all for you. What I have seen happen to several people, and it's really disheartening, is that they go ahead and they do this, and one, they really don't then know enough about the social media and enough about their email list and all of that to have an even, steady, effortless, seamless flow from having the Telesummit and all that entails, convert into a full-time, thriving practice or lots of sales. There is a gap. It just happens. It's dead in the water. There's no follow through. There's no next steps. It just kind of lands on deaf ears, and you spent all that time, all that money, and for naught, right? For some email subscribers. Big deal. We can get you that for free.
So keep it simple. So that's the takeaway as we wind this up, because we're keeping right to our time, is keep it simple. Begin with preparing for being able to be on a telesummit. Take a next step of creating a magical opportunity for being one as a guest. And once you've done it several times, then you could take on the idea of looking at putting one on your own and what it takes to do that. Yeah?
Exactly.
I think we covered an amazing amount today. Yeah?
We sure did.
Lots of golden nuggets there.
Yes, absolutely. So if you'd like to check us out for the EFT MBA program, which starts in the fall, we're accepting applications. Go to EFTMBA.com, fill out the application, submit it, and we will set up an interview with us. We want to make sure it's a good fit for you as well as for us and the other members of the EFT MBA program. We're really excited to start our 5th year of doing this, providing EFT professionals with great business and marketing skills so that they really can achieve what they want to and what they set out to do, which is helping to change the planet while making a really good living. Thank you all.
And we love hearing. Yeah, we love meeting and hearing you all as we travel across the United States and hear people all the time that are listening to the show and getting a lot out of it. So please, send us your thoughts, your ideas, your, anything about the program that you enjoy. We love that. So thanks.
Yeah, we really do. And you can check out where we're teaching. We've just come back from Florida. We're on our way to Canada, and then we're going to near Boston and Hawaii and all these great places this fall. So check out our training schedule if you'd like to come to one of our trainings, EFT Level 1 and 2, Matrix Reimprinting, Money Mastery workshops. All that's available. Our calendar is at EFTtappingtraining.com. And until we meet again in a couple of weeks, remember to keep on tapping.
Bye,
you
everybody.
have been listening to EFT MBA with Alina Frank and Dr. Craig Weiner. To get your free report on the 5 secrets to create a rockin' EFT practice and to learn more about the EFT MBA program, visit www.EFTMBA.com.